Dark Phoenix, if I can pause it correctly. There we are. I've been leading Vanessa first pick more because I feel like it branches off against Cleaves nicer. Hathor first pick against Cleaves is just a problem. Like, imagine having a Hathor into this comp. It would be a very, very tough thing if they're on full will. If they're not on full will and it's, say, a Swift Hathor, you win. So, you know, maybe. Mine is not Swift, so I don't have that option. So I go Vanessa. They go Bastet Frigate, which, you know, sets off my cleavy sense. You know you're getting cleaved, right? If you're not getting cleaved with those two, you know, draft as if you're getting cleaved and be happy that you're not getting cleaved. I counter with my second speed lead in CR because you know Cleaves want speed leads, right? Especially when you lead off with Vanessa. So in theory, they want Sierra, Samath, or Shayna, Vanessa. And, you know, you see them all in play. All the relevant speed leads for Arena. You know, you'll see a Gemini as well. But they're all here, right? So I counter with the speed lead and one of my fastest units in Okeanos. I think he's 285. Okeanos plus speed lead equals good chance of going first. They counter with double speed lead because now they know they've got to go fast. Samath and Shayna, which is fine. I counter with another fast unit of mine, the Fran. She's 295. So Fran plus speed lead equals, we're at least getting immunity. So that takes care of some of the issues with his damage dealers. And then Josephine. She's the one we want to talk about here. Josephine. If they're going to stun, Josephine is a turn 2 anti-cleave unit, which those are pretty rare. Usually to beat cleave, you have to go first or be innately exceedingly tanky. She's a turn 2. Her and Diana are the ones that I kind of can think of offhand, because Diana she'll cut, right? You'll do a bunch of stuff in cleavy. She'll cut with a bunch of attack bar and then can do Diana things. So that's why I'm bringing Josephine here. They finish up with the Dark Phoenix. I think I check its skills. It looks like it just wrecks things and brands, but it's probably not as good as other amazing cleave units. But that's okay. They have an LD Nat 5. They are lucky. I am not. All right. So we lose the speed battle right away, which is unfortunate, but not unexpected. I can't expect a 280 Swift set to outspeed a booster, right? The frigate should be 305, something like that. I banned his Bastet just to mitigate the damage a little bit. Like, whenever you face cleave, you're looking to mitigate damage as much as possible and then take turns more than them. So to me, attack buff on their 3 damage dealers was worse for me than them having 2 damage dealers with attack buff. And that's a thought. I don't know. Losing the shield is also nice, and that also is a defense break they lose. They still have a couple other options there. But, so here we go. They get what I think for them is ideal. They get 3 stuns and 3 defense breaks. One of the stuns happens to be on Josephine, so that's eradicated. Now they have 2 stuns, and I have a shield. I get a turn. The taunt on the Jara. Now, that damage is mitigated because it's not going into the defense broken unit. It's going into a tanky, counter-attacking stun unit with a shield. So that's step 1. He overwhelms. I think he gets full increased cooltime. I get branded because that's what it does. Counter, don't get the stun, so not even super lucky. But look, now because of those turns, I'm out of defense break. The Josephine shield absorbed the Samath's AoE, so she's helping double time. She's shielding me on turn 2. She's forcing their killing unit to not attack my defense broken units. So she's doing everything she can do. We get our control, and look at that. I feel like we're doing well against this cleave with terrible luck. 1 stun from Okeanos is awful. That is just the worst. He saw that and thought, cool, I win. How nice. But, you know, you get a bomb, you start blowing stuff up, and suddenly they're under much more control. Nice little Josephine stun, so now they're all 3 controlled. We Vanessa into a double kill, which is ideal. We cool down the Pisama, which is his last kind of line of defense in terms of damage, and now we're good. We denied them just enough turns to take enough turns and get it done. And it all started with the Josephine, who basically prevented me from getting destroyed. She prevented the Jara from getting a one-shot. She prevented the Samath from really messing me up with the AoE. So that's just Josephine in action right there. Next replay. I think these are back-to-back, which is what made me think I should talk about them. I was like, oh, I'm facing a lot of cleave. So here's another cleave indicator. A little different, and I'll talk about the differences here in a second. So in my experience, if you see Zyros, Tiana, you're going to see Bastet. So my thought here was, okay, I'm going to need 2 fast units, just like last time. The Fran is not as useful against the Tiana because you do Fran's second skill, it doesn't boost or anything, and then it's all gone to the Tiana. And I'm not sure if I'm going to let the Tiana through or not, but I don't want to put a dead pick into it just in case I have to let it through, right? So instead of Fran, I chose Bastet and then Oki. So two of my faster Swift sets, they're both still in the 280 range, so I know that I'm in trouble against their boosters, especially with speed leads, but that's what I have, so that's what I'm going to bring. So they bring Tiana Zyros, which is a problem in so many ways. I go Oki Bastet. They follow up with Shayna Megan. So their B choice, right? They don't want Megan. They want Bastet, in my opinion. It's a lesser bar boost. It's no shield. It's defense instead. So at least I get that little satisfaction of stealing one of their units, I assume. Can't imagine they don't have a Bastet, but maybe it's possible. They probably saw it and go, oh, I want that unit, but probably not. Okay. I go with Sierra and Josephine. And they follow with Samath, the other speed lead. So this is very similar to the other team, except their third damage dealer instead of Jara is the Zyros, which I think is probably better. And then they go with the full removal of immunity type business with Tiana. But my team's basically the same. The only difference is the Fran versus the Bastet, right? If I can get a Bastet off, I get a little bar boost, and maybe that'll help. I don't know. So that was my thought there. I banned the Zyros this time. They banned my Vanessa speed lead, which I think is wise because they don't want things coming back and being around. I kind of have to ban the Zyros because if I get reset turn 1, I can't do anything. My Vanessa's useless, my Sierra's useless, everything's useless. There's still the issue of possibly getting reset with the Pisama, but I'll take my chances there. It's one turn, right? So let's see how we play out here. We go second again. We go second a lot because I'm not tuned for going first against Cleaves. I'm just not. Next month, when Triton shows up, you're going to see something a little bit different because if they're not picking Triton in their Cleave, they're going to have to ban my Triton because I will take all their stuff and mess with their attack bars. So that is something to look forward to for me for next month. So they have now done their double boost. They're about to get their damage dealers off. They've got their attack buff, which is what I tried to avoid last time, but I had no choice, I felt, but to take it this time. So maybe that's a lesson for the Jara user, you know, if you really want the attack buff, force a different ban, because if they're going to let your Jara through, you know, you're going to lose your attack buff, right? So here comes the Chakram. Let's see how fortunate he is. It ends up being the same amount of fortunate, because he gets 2 stuns instead of 3. Well, okay, not quite as good. And 2 defense breaks instead of 3. One of the stuns is on Josephine, which is unfortunate for him, because, you know, she's gonna cleanse it and get to do the same things we did last time. So let's see if we can't do the same thing we did last time. We do. He counters back with a stun. Kind of lucky for him, but I do get the removal and the provoke, which is going to cut me a little bit of slack so I can start doing my stuff. There goes Ciara. Yeah, that Shayna's built pretty damagey, so I'm happy to see her blow up because that amount of damage killing her means she is full YOLO. And the nice thing here is getting to do Bastet's second skill, which I didn't have access to in the last match. The glance is so nice. That's pure damage mitigation. It's not taking turns, but it's taking damage. So I'm really happy to see that. And then we go into Rain of Stones, and we kind of know we've won, right? We, again, reset the Pisama, and then Josephine does Josephine things, and they're done. Hopefully they know they're done. I don't think they quite do, but that's okay. We'll speed it up a little bit. So anytime you can finish a match up 4 monsters to 0, you gotta feel like you're doing something exceedingly right. Like matches where it could go either way, you know, you finish 2 monsters left to their 0, 1 monster left, where you know it really could have gone either way. But when you finish up 4-0, you really countered what they're trying to do. So as an indicator, if you're kind of just feeling out your RTA wings, you're trying to figure out what works. Anytime you see something go 4-0, make a note, you know, a mental or a physical note, and think, okay, this is something I need to do when I see this situation because it's highly effective. Like, that's not to say I'm going to win that situation every time, but the fact that I had back-to-backs finishing 4-0 means, you know, I had to get a couple things. I had to get the provoke. I had to get a little bit lucky, but that is the strategy. Like, let yourself rely on the ability to have that happen as you want and then win, right? So something to keep in mind. All right, let's look at another kind of a Cleave situation. This guy, Shiddy, Shiddy, not a profanity, because that's not how you spell profanities, is where I want to be in G1. Oh, so close. And he is running a Twins Cleave, dirty Twins Cleave. So he picks Bastet turn 1, which is pretty much the greatest indicator of Cleave you can see. you can switch out of Cleave into sort of that Japanese Cleave thing with Veligil, but you see Bastet, you better be ready to fight Cleave. If he picks Bastet and I pick Genny Hathor, that would be a bold decision that I'm not willing to make. So I'm in full Cleave mode. So what I decide to do here is I go double speed lead. I know the speed leads are a thing, and I'm going to need them, so that's what I do. He goes twin and gets one of his speed leads in the Shayna. And then that evil Martina, which kind of makes it all possible. She is the one that does the mean things. She steals stuff. She wrecks face. She's obnoxious. I counter with Josephine Oki because, you know, I'm kind of feeling, okay, wait, this is a thing now. Josephine Oki, Vanessa, let's do this, right? And then he goes with Odin and Garo. Odin being his one-shot unit there, which is smart. I think that's his plan for Sierra and Josephine. And then Garo, I'm not quite sure. I see that Garo and I'm a little bit confused because normally you bring the Garo to threaten a fire speed lead. So, I don't know. I'm not really afraid of Garo Shayna because Shayna's her own speed lead. So Garo's speed lead is not a threat here. If it was with a Draco or a Veligil or an Okeanos, then that speed lead becomes something I need to consider when it comes time to ban. But in this case, I'm not really afraid of that Garo speed lead. Just not. It's weird. So let's look at the bans. He bans Okeanos, which I think is wise because that's my blatant turn 1 unit. And you see an Okeanos, you think, okay, that thing's 290 speed. Nothing else on my team screams turn 1, and he wants turn 1, right? I ban the Shayna because that's his only universal speed lead, and it breaks up the Twins team, and it breaks up the AoE stun, and it breaks up the bar control, and it breaks up the defense break. Shayna does a lot of things, guys. So I ban the Shayna. Let's see how we do here. I go with Perna last pick against the Odin because I'm going to need the Perna. I'm going to need the heals. So it does get turn 1. Again, a turn 2. I get stunned. I miss it this time, which is not great. This is the first time out of the 3 matches we've looked at that I missed it. But I do land the defense break, so I'm feeling okay about that. Let's see if Perna can get it done. That is what Perna does. Delete. Defense break equals dead. So we're already feeling pretty good. We've used Odin once to delete the CR for the first time. But thanks to Vanessa, we still get to CR a little bit. So we bomb, we miss the stun, which is unfortunate. We kill the thing, which erases his stacks, which I'm more than happy to do. And now we're just trying to kill him again. Nice little control on Garo. We're trying to control on Garo, but we're also trying to, you know, delete those things. So that was my anti-cleave idea. I think I might have a few runes for you guys. I'm not 100% sure. Usually I would like to show you runes. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? So there's a Josephine. I think I've shown her before, but she's 234. She's about where I want her to be. You know, I wouldn't mind her having 20 more speed, but, you know, you take what you can get. Violent Blade. You can always pause the video to see the runes. And yeah, so she's the MVP. She is Josephine, killer of Cleaves. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Nice to see some Cleaves fail a little bit. Sorry, people who cleave. You know, you can't win them. Can't win them all. Sometimes you'll face Josephine. Yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.